Fireworks, messages of hope, restoration, reconciliation, peace and progress as well takes turns in ushering in the year 2026. Nigeria still has just under 3 hours to go. Good evening and welcome to the news. We'll be counting down to 2026 with reports detailing key events in the outgoing year as we talk to experts and stakeholders in key sectors of the economy as they make projections on the likely direction of state and the trends to watch out for. Also tonight, we'll be in different parts of the country to feel the pulse of Nigerians as another year waves its flag of welcome.
I'm Abdullah Mustafa in Kano. Tonight on News Extra, we'll be saying goodbye to 2025 by recalling key events in the outgoing year while cataloguing citizens' expectations for the year 2026.
2026 is a couple of hours away. In 2025, there will be programs and projects that will be carried into the new year. These programs and policies, especially here in Lagos State, often impact the new year. What are these programs? What are these policies? This is what we have for you on News Extra this week. Join us.
It's just about 3 hours to the end of 2025 and a welcome to a brand new year 2026. I am Indenyan and the Abuja in Jos and I shall bring you some moments that shaped 2025 in Plateau State as we look forward to an exciting 2026.
Fantastic. Right here in the studio, Musa Abubakar will be minding his business, strictly talking business, while Francisca Villela is the lady on the sports for sports. Naturally, it's a loaded package, being the very last in the year 2025. As we say on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Yan Ray John, and this is News Extra. Welcome. Let's set sail tonight as operations are on to apprehend terrorists fleeing their camps following the joint Nigeria-US bombardment of terrorist cells. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Michael Onoja, stated this during the end-of-year briefing on military operations.
It's the last Defense Media Operations briefing in 2025, and Major General Michael Onoja is here with details of major success recorded. Top is the recent Nigeria-US bombardment of terrorist camps in Sokoto, killing and displacing several criminals.
There is a process of battle damage assessment. We are still in that process, and I can assure you that once that is completed, we will communicate to the public all our observations. However, for now, let us rely on the statement that was made by the Presidency and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Let it suffice.
On the debris and fragments emanating from the bombardment, the Director of Defense Media Operations has a word of caution.
On the issue of the bomb that dropped in Ofa, we cannot rule out the human error. Luckily for us, there was no casualty. We don't expect anybody to take away those materials. We have formations within the armed forces whose duty it is to recover those things. They should return them to the military or security locations so that we can disarm those things before they cause greater damage to the individuals who have taken them and to the other members of the public.
Similarly, 2,336 kidnapped victims were rescued by troops of the armed forces, while 4,375 suspects were arrested in different theaters in 2025. Before the commencement of the briefing, a minute's silence was observed in honor of NTA Gombe staff who recently lost their lives in a road accident. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Zamfara State Police Command has announced the successful completion of a joint explosive ordnance disposal sweep operation along the Gusau-Magami-Dansadao Road. The operation followed the detonation of an improvised explosive device by suspected terrorists along the road on 27th December 2025, resulting in the loss of 8 lives and the destruction of property. In a statement, the Zamfara State Police Command Public Relations Officer, DSP Yazid Abubakar, says the road has now been cleared and declared safe for movement. People in the state are encouraged to remain vigilant and report any suspicious objects or activities to the nearest security agency for appropriate action. We start our talking point series tonight in Kano, the center of commerce, as the nation collectively counts down to 2026. Abdullahi Mustafa joins us now, and he says there is momentum towards development.
Thank you very much. Indeed, the year 2025 has been a moment of accomplishment for the government and people of Kano State, though not without some unpleasant happenings. Generally, it would be said to have recorded a lot of development, progress, and people are happy with many developments that we are recorded. What we can see here behind well-lit streets a reflection of what is being observed or achieved across Kano State. This is part of the urban renewal program, which also involves reconstruction, general renovation and upgrade of major metropolitan roads. About 17 have so far been reconstructed and beautified across the metropolis. This is also in addition to connecting farming communities, especially in the major agrarian communities like in Kura, Madobi. Along the roads there is also a bridge reconstructed. It collapsed about 9 years ago and disconnected communities around that corridor. But now movement of commuters and farm produce resumed. This is also taking place around Rogo, Albasu and other places. Being a commercial hub in sub-Saharan Africa, the people of Kano are happy with developments in the execution of the Ajakuta-Kaduna Kano gas pipeline project. These people believe that it will stimulate industrial growth, which previously gone down due to electricity supply shortage over the years. And with the efforts also being made by Kano State government through the construction or establishment of an additional hydropower project at the Chala Gorge Dam, which will put together with the AKK project, gas project, will augment the existing supply, which is grossly inadequate for economic and domestic use. The people of Kano want the government, what they expect as we enter the year 2026 in a moment to come, more political will, more commitment of resources, and towards completing ongoing projects, especially the power projects, other infrastructural development projects that stimulate economic growth. These are the major priorities of the people of Kano, as business is what they know how to do best.
Thank you so much, Abdullahi, for that update as regards 2025 in Kano. We're watching Kano keenly, especially politically in 2026. And still talking points on News Extra tonight in Lagos, Larry Gbeleyi has been following developments with keen interest from the entertainment scene to education, health and other sectors. Larry, it is getting even closer to 2026. I'm sure you can hear me. What are the expectations from the Center of Excellence?
Yeah, Lagos State is consolidating on the policies and programs of 2025 as we go into 2026. And this is evident in their body language and the budget presented earlier. And these consolidations can be seen in integrated transport, better waste management system as they are moving into circular economy, and resilient flood communities. And also there's a digital solution for a smart city. Lagos State is also talking about housing schemes, how to have a better housing schemes and to have to complete and extend its green rail line. I talked to our public analyst earlier on what impact this will have on Lagos State socio-economic life, and this is what he said.
Must be ready to sustainably invest in this segment. I think putting it in the budget, campaigning all about it, as Lagos State government is doing, is a step in the right direction. We must not lose focus, because the economy, when you pull up the largest companies in the world and you look at the list of top 10, you'll be amazed at how many of those companies are IT-related companies. So the value that could be put on the table by ICT, by digitization, by the digitized world is huge.
Yeah, Lagos State is also saying that the small and medium scale industry will have a boost from its support, and the tech industry will be having startup parks, because Lagos State is being viewed as the fastest growing tech hub in Africa. And this and a lot more. Because of our time here, we have to stop here.
Many thanks, Larry. Of course, so much to say. So much happened in Lagos this year, and looking forward to 2026. We now take a trip to Jos. And the Abuja is right there. She joins us tonight to review developments on the plateau, the highs and the lows, the expectations of the people, of course. Over to you, Ndayang.
Quantum leap in infrastructure, education, agriculture, and digital advancement. In the area of infrastructure, we have the completion of the Utonko Bridge to Abuja, a project that was awarded since 2007. The completion has significantly eased vehicular movement around the metropolis. It's not just within the metropolis that we're having road expansion and the rest. We have 335 kilometers rural road projects that were launched to open up the rural communities. So we're having more agricultural produce coming out of the hinterlands into the city center. The year 2025 was indeed a rewarding one, as the transport sector received a boost with the restoration of the intra-city train services. Reviving the sector, it was a major applause for the citizens of the state. As we forge into 2026, I have a public affairs commentator, Kiwitwe Gotom, who is looking ahead with so much optimism. Sir, tell us, as we go into 2026, what are your expectations?
My expectations are simply that the current development we've seen in the state shall not only be consolidated, but shall be accelerated. 2026 is just next door to 2027, and by that time, the elections will want to take the center stage. But we have seen what has happened in the state. We have seen the developments that the governor has done, and I'm confident that he will not be detracted. And as you said earlier, with the security in place now, like better than we have had, like a more peaceful Christmas than we have had in previous years. We're looking forward that agriculture will really pick up. Farmers can go back to their farms. Food supply will not only increase, children shall go to school unmolested, communities shall be resettled. And I really appreciate the resettlement idea that has happened. That was a promise that was given during the campaign days of Governor Mutfwang, and definitely he's keeping to it, although not as many people thought it would be that instant, but it's always better late than never. So going into 2026, I'm optimistic that Plateau State will begin to redevelop at a pace it once was, and as the state that was once known for both peace, security, and tourism. We know that the tourism sector is big. We see what happened with Lagos, the dirty December billion naira economy that came with Christmas. And I believe that by next year, Plateau too shall become maybe the North Central's center for a very big Christmas tourism based on the gains that I believe we're going to have this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I tell you, 2026 is a year we look forward to with so much excitement. So see you in 2026.
See you in 2026 in the Yang, just few hours. Many thanks for that package. Wishing the home of peace and tourism the very best in the coming year. Yes, we count down to 2026. Few hours, and as 2026 begins in parts of the Pacific, countries in this region are the first to greet the new year ahead of those in Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Febaury reports that both New Zealand and Australia mark the occasion with spectacular fireworks display. Let's watch this.
New Zealand's largest city, Auckland, ushered in 2026 with a spectacular fireworks display launched from the iconic Sky Tower, the country's tallest structure. Despite persistent wet weather in the city centre, thousands gathered to mark the occasion with the vibrant pyrotechnics illuminating the night sky and reflecting over the harbour. Shortly after, other Pacific Island nations joined the festivities. Samoa and Tonga welcomed the new year with cultural performances, religious gatherings, and community events, blending local tradition with joyful countdowns. As the new year wave continued westward, Australia's eastern cities, including Sydney, with its world-famous Harbour Bridge fireworks, added to the global spectacular shortly thereafter. Fiji and China followed closely, hosting relaxed beachside parties, traditional dances, and modest fireworks displays. These early celebrations occurred hours before larger events in other parts of the world, approximately 10 hours ahead of Nigeria's time. The rolling countdown highlights how time zones create a truly worldwide chain of hope and renewal, beginning in the specific remote islands and spreading across continent over nearly 26 hours. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Beautiful to see. I honestly cannot wait for 2026. 2026 is your year, and the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, has called on Nigerians to choose peace, empathy, unity, as well as continued investment in the well-being of children, women, and the vulnerable as they embrace the new year 2026. She made a call in the New Year message entitled Hope on the Horizon, where she expressed gratitude for the new year, filled with joy, great hope, and an assurance of God's promises for the nation. The past year, she says, reaffirms the enduring spirit of Nigerians who showed courage, strength, creativity, and unwavering belief in a better tomorrow, noting that she's deeply inspired by women, men, and young people across the nation who continue to work tirelessly to uplift their families, communities, and the country. While affirming her belief in Nigeria, the First Lady urges everyone to invest in what the nation can become by creating opportunities that allows every Nigerian to thrive with dignity. And of course, still looking ahead to the new year, Katsina State Governor Malam Diko Umaru Rada has assured residents of a stronger commitment to deliver quality governance as the state enters 2026. In his new year message, Governor Rada expressed optimism that 2026 would bring greater prosperity, deeper peace, and accelerated development across the state, noting that peace is gradually returning to Katsina State following concerted efforts by the government, security agencies, traditional rulers, and other critical stakeholders. Governor Rada prayed for peace, prosperity, and divine guidance for Katsina State and Nigeria in 2026. Now time to take a break. More news shortly, please. Many thanks for staying with us. The Labour Party presidential candidate for the 2023 elections, Peter Obi, has officially defected to the African Democratic Congress, ADC. This move comes ahead of the 2027 elections, with Peter Obi citing the need for unifying and all-inclusive governance as his reason for joining the coalition. Grace Wilson reports that the event held in Enugu.
As the political tempo rises with political gladiators on the move, alignments and realignments are gradually becoming the order of the day, with special focus on the 2027 general elections in Nigeria. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, an emerging opposition political coalition, is making progress by receiving heavy political weights into her fold. The national chairman, ADC, Senator David Mark, described children and women empowerment as well as grassroots inclusiveness as one of the major truths of true democracy, stating that ADC is a veritable platform for the desired change Nigerians are yearning for.
Together, we will enthrone internal democracy, respect for party members, and people-oriented governance anchored on integrity and accountability.
I am fully in ABC. Following my brother and our leader, Mr. Peter Obi.
Mr. Peter Obi, who finished third in the 2023 presidential election, has been a prominent figure in the country's political space, with massive support among young voters and urban populations. His defection is seen as a strategic boost for the ADC, which is positioning itself as a viable opposition party.
We are going to be a family of change, a family that will create new Nigeria. All come together to ensure that we become fully member of this coalition of ADC.
Some serving and former senators and House of Representative members also joined in the defection train. In Enugu, Grace Wilson Eze, NTA News.
And away from politics, Jigawa State is rewriting history as it takes unprecedented steps to eliminate child street begging carried out in the name of Quranic education. In a landmark initiative, the state government is investing billions to transform lives of thousands of Amajiri and integrate them into a future of dignity, learning and opportunity. Muhammad Musa Askira reports.
The progress Jigawa State government is recording in the Tsangaya system of education, streets like these in the hearts of Duse will soon be free of child begging.
Jigawa State government is blazing a trail in northern Nigeria with a comprehensive, well-funded push to end child street begging through the modernization of Tsangaya education. The state is committing over 3 billion naira to the construction of 3 mega and renovation of 7 model Tsangaya schools set up at strategic locations across the state. When completed, the mega schools and model schools will collectively take over 8,000 Almajiri off the streets and offer them combined Quranic and formal education, including market-driven vocational skills, equipping them to contribute meaningfully to the national development. Beyond this, construction will soon begin for 1 Quranic recitation center in each of the state's 30 constituencies. This move aims to permanently end the era of Almajiri studentship without formal or skill-based education in Jigawa State.
Graduates from Tsangaya school in Jigawa State will now have 3 different things to be proud of. 1, you have the Islamic education. 2, you now have numeracy and literacy. And 3, you have some skills that you have learned. That will also keep you going in your life.
Executive Secretary of the Jigawa State Tsangaya Education Board, Dr. Abubakar Maji Hamisu, commended Governor Umar Namadi for his visionary leadership and for transforming the destiny of thousands of children from uncertainty to hope.
160 Alarammas are selected after due diligence and the screening exercise. After 6 months, they will sit for MBIS examination and will be awarded with a senior secondary school certificate.
Governor Umar Namadi reaffirmed his administration's commitments to sustaining the momentum and introducing more innovations to secure a lasting future for the initiative. In Dutse, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
And away from Jigawa now, as at 31st of December 2025, a total of 25,520,708,074 naira 35 kobo has been donated to the Oluremi at 65 Education Fund. This is contained in a statement by Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, where she appreciates all Nigerians, family, friends and well-wishers who generously supported the education fund created in commemoration of her 65th birthday towards building the National Library. She says their support affirms shared commitment to education, preservation of knowledge and national development, adding that she is deeply encouraged by the goodwill and unity the initiative has inspired. While announcing that the donation account for the Oluremi at 65 Education Fund will be shut down this Wednesday, 31st December 2025, the First Lady notes that the project is under the supervision of the Education Minister, and as such, any further support may be channeled through the ministry. Let's look at education. An ecosystem expected to set the standard for poverty, competence and excellence found itself confronting some controversies in the year 2025. The education sector in Nigeria was in the spotlight for some less than stellar reasons, of course, from system failures to logistics issues that led to students writing the SSCE examination well into the night under blinking torchlights. In spite of these obvious teething problems, the results may still be convincing. Olayinka Ojo gives us a breakdown of how examination bodies in Nigeria conducted examinations across the country in the year under review.
Thank you, Henry. No doubt, the year 2025 was a turbulent one for education in Nigeria. Now, let's begin with the National Common Entrance Examination conducted by the National Examination Council, NECO, where a total of 64,578 candidates registered. And of this number, 61,290 sat for the examination, while 3,288 were absent. During the examination, 13 candidates scored 202 out of 210, while 27 candidates scored the lowest mark of 1. 52 candidates were caught engaging in examination malpractice, with 2 from Lagos and 50 from Rivers State. For the National Examination Council, NECO, which released the 2025 Senior Secondary Certificate Examination results within 54 days after the last paper, there were more than 1.3 million candidates who sat for the examination, and out of this number, over 800,000 students had 5 credits. 3,878 candidates were involved in examination malpractice in 38 schools across 13 states. On performance, Kano had the highest, while Oyo State had 48,742 candidates. At the top of the list of controversies that define Nigeria's education sector in 2025 is the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board's result glitch. During the examination, 71,701 candidates were absent, and a high percentage scored below 200 out of the 400 obtainable points. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, was not far from behind. The council in the year 2025 saw the worst performance of candidates in the conduct of examination in a decade. Looking at the performance in the year under review, 38.32% of more than 1.9 million candidates who sat for the examination obtained credits and above in 5 subjects. Since 2015, the pass rate has been undulating, with the 2025 result a sharp decline of 33.8% from the 72.12% pass rate recorded last year. While more than 1.7 million candidates representing 87.24% obtained credit and above in a minimum of 5 subjects, the result of 192,089 candidates were withheld for alleged examination malpractice. The performance drop is coming before the planned full transition to conduct examination via computer-based testing by 2026, which is in line with the directive of the federal government. The question now is, how prepared are schools, students, and the examination bodies for the full transition? This is a story for another day. It's back.
Well, thanks, Olainka. Indeed, time will answer that question. And thank you for convincing us that we can give a pass mark to the examination bodies. But, you know, as they say, there's room for improvement. And away from education now, Governor Babagana Umar Zulum's leadership style continues to receive widespread commendation from citizens of Borno State following his consistent implementation of people-oriented policies and developmental programs over the past 6 years. In this report, Mohammed Goni samples the views of residents after the presentation of the 2026 appropriation bill and performance reports.
Zulum's style of leadership has endeared him to citizens across nook and crannies of the state, as reflected in the mammoth crowd who stood by the roadside to cheer him as he went to and returned from the State Assembly for presentation of 2026 appropriation bill. The governor presented the 2026 bill to the State House of Assembly, proposing a total budget estimate of 890.3 billion naira for the fiscal year, which the governor explained is strategically anchored on key development pillars, including security, human capital development, critical infrastructure, as well as social and economic revitalization.
Government will facilitate the take-up of the Maiduguri dry port and banking economic zone. What do we mean by dry port is that you can clear your goods directly from Lagos to Maiduguri.
The governor noted that the budget was carefully crafted to respond to the needs and aspirations of the people. Soon after the presentation of the bill, enthusiastic supporters lined off the roads leading to the government house to express their love and appreciation for the governor, chanting solidarity songs and waving placards, hailing Governor Zulum for his transparent, inclusive and people-centered style of governance.
Let me first and foremost thank the Almighty God for giving us a governor who is people's friendly, who worked for his people, who has carried along everybody in the state.
Babagana Umar Zulum has exhibited a lot of achievement in Borno State in terms of education, health and security issues, more especially in his yesterday budget.
You can see a very high performance in the area of health, in the area of agriculture, in the area of infrastructure, roads, bridges, and you can also see tremendous improvement in the beauty of the city of Maiduguri.
The overwhelming show of affection from the people further reflects the strong bond between Governor Zulum and the citizens of Borno State, reinforcing public confidence in his leadership and development-driven agenda.
Citizens of Borno State, cutting across age and gender, are applauding Governor Babagana Umar Zulum for his real leadership quality in the last 6 years in Maiduguri. Mohammed Goni, NTA News.
Let's look elsewhere now. The Nigerian Senate wrapped up its activities in 2025 with the second reading of the proposed national budget bill for 2026. The 2025 period featured passage of resolutions and approvals of executive requests to improve security and the economy, as well as high-profile defections to the ruling party, leaving the 5 opposition parties with 30 out of 109 seats. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali takes us through some activities in the Senate that made headlines in 2025.
2025 was quite engaging and productive in the Red Chamber, with more than 90 legislations passed. This was in addition to confirmation of presidential appointments and adoption of resolutions on critical issues.
Due to the legislation, the laws that we make in order to assist the economy, in order to strengthen the hands of the executive, that they are paying off.
Here are some activities in the Senate that went abuzz in 2025. In February, Senate passed the 2025 budget estimate after weeks of budget defense with ministries, departments and agencies of government.
I hope that this appropriation bill will contribute to moving Nigeria forward and will assist Mr. President in his renewed hope agenda to renew the hope of Nigerians in all facets of life.
March took off on a rocky note as Senator Natasha Dwanga was suspended for 6 months for violation of Senate standing rules over allocation of seats in the chamber. Also in March, Senate passed the National Identity Management Commission bill that makes registration compulsory for all Nigerians. It also passed the Investments and Securities Bill, prescribing 10-year jail term and 20 million naira fine on anyone found guilty of promoting Ponzi schemes. It was also in same month of March that the Senate approved the 6-month emergency rule in Rivers State. The tax reform bills grabbed headlines in May 2025 as the Senate passed 4 bills at plenary. July saw lawmakers temporarily relocating the Senate to the 6 geopolitical zones for engagements with the public on amendments of the Constitution. Senate also convened a town hall to find solutions to Nigeria's security challenges.
Security is a primacy of governance. The only reason why the people surrender their sovereignty to government is in return for government to provide peace, order, and good governance. So we uphold security summit across the 6 geopolitical zones, which will climax in the new year of 2026.
October was quite notable in 2025 as the Senate screened and confirmed the newly appointed Chief of Defense Staff, General Olufemi Oluede, and the 3 service chiefs. Also screened and confirmed in the Red Chamber in October is the Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amopiton. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Bernard Mohamed Doro, was also confirmed. More appointments came in November. Senate screened and confirmed Dr. Tochukwu Ude as minister. Other events in the Senate that made waves on media platforms include second reading of the bill to reenact Armed Forces Act, proposing a ban on enlistment of underage in the armed forces, and the motion requesting the recruitment of additional 100,000 personnel into the armed forces to combat security breaches following the abductions at schools in Kebbi and Niger states. December appears to be the busiest for the Senate in 2025 as it screened and confirmed General Christopher Musa as Minister of Defense. The Senate screened and confirmed 67 career and non-career ambassadors, approved the Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper 2026 to 2028, approved extension of implementation of the 2024 and 2025 capital components to March 2026. It also passed a bill for second reading that proposes 112 as Nigeria's emergency toll-free number. It was also in December, on Friday 19th to be precise, that President Tinubu laid before a joint session the proposed budget estimate of 2026 for consideration and passage. Senate took second reading of the bill 4 days after and adjourned activities to 2026.
Many thanks, Lemueli, for that detailed package. Let's look at the power sector now. The year 2025 is said to be significant for Nigeria's power sector as it sets tune for the implementation of the new Electricity Act 2023. It's a year of new records, major reforms, and at the same time, persistent challenges that keep electricity firmly in the national conversation. Joshua Ojito takes a closer look at the key events that shaped Nigeria's power sector in 2025.
The year began with renewed momentum for reform as federal government pushed forward the implementation of the Electricity Act, a landmark law that allows states to generate, transmit and distribute electricity independently. Several states moved quickly, setting up their own electricity regulatory bodies, a major step towards decentralizing power supply. At the generation end, Nigeria recorded its highest electricity generation level ever, crossing 6,000 megawatts on the national grid. Also, international support came into focus as Nigeria secured major financing commitments from development partners to support grid upgrades, transmission infrastructure, renewable energy, and the country's broader energy transition goals.
From distribution access through renewable energy scale-up, DES, which has a seed capital of $750 million, to interconnected mini-grid acceleration scheme, IMAS, which has the support of European Union and the German government to the tune of more than 4 billion naira. To EHAT, among other interventions under the Nigeria Energy Support Program. These are all interventions from the Rural Electrification Agency to close the energy gap in rural communities, as well as ensure universal access to electricity to more than 20,000 unserved and underserved communities in Nigeria.
We completed the implementation of the Nigerian Electrification Project, through which we impacted more than 8 million Nigerians. We deployed over 1.5 million solar home systems, and we also deployed over 250 mini-grids, of which about 6 of them are interconnected mini-grids.
However, challenges of liquidity and vandalism persist. The national grid was relatively stable in the year, with few incidents of system disturbance and partial grid collapse.
Our grid capacity has increased due to increased investments, establishment of new substations, replacement of a number of old transformers, and installation of new transformers. And this is a combination of the activities of the Presidential Power Initiatives, which we all know as Siemens project, and the internal expansion activities of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. Today, the minimum grid capacity we can even communicate is 8,500 megawatts of capacity.
As the year draws to a close, Nigeria featured prominently in regional and global energy fora, with the federal government projecting stronger revenues and increased private investment if reforms stay on track. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Our powerful power correspondent there, Joshua Ojito. By the way, Nigerians want to see 2026 a year free of grid collapse, or if you like, grid disturbances. Now, 38 ministries and extra ministerial departments have successfully completed the transition from paper-based processes to digital platforms as of 31st December 2025. Hammond Germany reports that the head of the Civil Service of the Federation, DD Esther Wilson-Jack, disclosed this while highlighting the achievements recorded under the paperless transition of the Federal Civil Service.
The breakdown shows that 33 ministries are now fully digital, alongside 5 extra ministerial departments, including the State House, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, the Federal Civil Service Commission, and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. In addition, over 100,000 civil servants are now enrolled on GovMail platform compared to fewer than 20,000 in 2024. This development has strengthened sovereignty over official correspondence, enhanced responsiveness across ministries, departments and agencies, and reduced reliance on unofficial communication channels.
It was a year marked by measurable results, rapid onboarding, enhanced adoption support, and coordinated execution, driven through the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation implementation architecture to ensure standardization, compliance, and sustained performance tracking.
Following the achievement of this milestone, the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation will expand implementation to all departments and agencies, while sustaining momentum, implementation optimization, compliance monitoring, cybersecurity enhancement, and further digitization of workflow.
Galaxy Backbone support was essential to reaching this milestone, feasible at scale and guaranteed delivery by the December 31, 2025 deadline.
In partnership with the United Nations Development Programme, the office would launch a service-wide training of trainers program for 500 trainees that will in turn train officers across ministries and other extra ministerial departments to ensure practical, hand-on and sustainable adoption of the paperless system. Hammond Jabani, NTA News.
Also in 2025, Nigeria's ICT sector maintained its position as one of the high contributors to the nation's GDP at 18%. However, certain little foxes are still spoiling Nigeria's ICT vine, hampering full harnessing of digital economic gains. Chimdima Ndubisi reports that the federal government, through the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy this year, initiated and consolidated on programs and projects that will ensure an end to these issues.
You make calls, the call will be dropped, you won't hear what the other side are saying, and money will be reading. We increase the tariff and all that. Now, despite the increments, we are paying more than what we are getting. Even internet service, the speed is too low.
Telecommunications subscribers are rating quality of service experience. More than 23 million Nigerians, especially those in rural and hard-to-reach areas, remain cut off from the digital economy, its opportunities and gains. In this era where telecom services power every socio-economic activity, including essential government programs and services, though industry regulators make efforts to demand improved quality of service from service providers, experts believe these will be permanently resolved when the federal government's deployment of 90,000 kilometers of fiber optic cables nationwide, facilitated by the World Bank's $2 billion investment portfolio, hits the ground in 2026. Meanwhile, 2025 has seen a sharp rise in cybercrimes due to fintech growth, e-government services, and negative use of artificial intelligence.
All those we see in the digital platform, whether you call them TikTok, whether it will be there for you, will confront you.
Fraud perpetrated through the cyberspace, cryptocurrency fraud. We are in court with some of these international players in cryptocurrency. So we are not going to allow our system to be used as a base for these international criminal cells.
Bright spots that made the difference in 2025. The federal government's 3 Million Technical Talents Program, 3MTT, run by the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, empowered the nation's tech-savvy youth, producing a total of 135,000 fellows at the end of the year. The likes of Michael, with little or no ICT experience, have become tech entrepreneurs.
We have also been able to build and ship software solutions to businesses and individuals within Nigeria and outside Nigeria.
Those that we can actually record that have gotten job opportunities in the first batch of the training program is already over 15,000.
As much as there were challenges in this sector, we also saw an improvement. It really expanded in the year. And for it to have expanded, that means there was more investment. And thanks to things like 5G, that more people adopted, even telco companies at this time, it means that you are able to do things in a more seamless manner. We are starting to have professionals that, even though they work in Nigeria, they can work anywhere else in the world because they are acclimatizing to emerging technologies.
Nigeria's communications sector stood out in 2025 as a vital engine for economic diversification, growth, and youth empowerment, with prospects for improvement in 2026. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Let's pause briefly. There's more news. Glad to have you back. Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya has signed the 2026 appropriation bill into law, giving Gombe State a 617.95 billion naira budget of consolidation. Abbas Mekano reports.
The bill, presented by the House of Assembly and led by Speaker Abubakar Muhammad Ligere, authorizes 189 billion naira for recurrent spending and 428.5 billion naira for capital projects. A focus on infrastructure, service delivery, and long-term growth. A key feature is a 12 billion naira regional security fund, 1 billion naira each month.
We shall work hard to ensure that we maintain that fiscal discipline that we are known for, and we deliver on the expectations of the budget and the people, particularly considering the trajectory on which we manage this state over the last 7 years.
According to the governor, this budget is realistic, responsible, and centered on the citizen. It prioritizes health, education, social investment, environmental protection, mineral resources, and support for persons with disabilities. The governor thanked the House of Assembly for a thoughtful review that added over 82 billion naira to the original 535.69 billion naira proposal and praised lawmakers for their unity and full attendance during the process.
That adjustment was done in good faith and in the good interest of our dear states.
With this budget, Gombe State moves forward on infrastructure, security, and essential services, a commitment to a brighter future for all citizens. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
As the countdown to the new year begins, traders across major markets are recording low patronage. Some marketers attribute the decline in sales to reduced cash flow within the economy. Charity Zaka visited the market and now reports.
With Christmas celebrations now over, traders are hoping for increased sales as residents prepare for the New Year festivities. However, many marketers say that while goods are in abundance, purchasing power among buyers remains low.
Other stuff where they, for company, they never reduce money.
You can see God has really blessed us. Like last year, things were very expensive, but we have sales.
Can see that the price, people are not complaining much about the price. It's the only few people like that can complain, but I know that any price now people can afford to get what they want.
Traders in the lifestyle section note that sales were stronger at this time last year, but they remain hopeful of improved patronage before the new year.
Hey, people, they come buy them now. They come buy chicken, they come buy this goat. They are not complaining about that. Market now, no go like the first time why they said.
Like we are the marketplace, you will stay, you will stand, though, you will not say anything.
Charity Zaka, NTA News.
Now time to get more business reports, and Musa Abubakar is here. Musa.
Thank you. The Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, has unveiled its official logo, formally replacing the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, following the enactment of the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025, signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. Speaking at the unveiling in Abuja, NRS Executive Chairman Zaka Dideji said the new identity reflects a renewed commitment to a more unified, efficient and service-oriented revenue system aligned with Nigeria's economic transformation agenda and global best practices. He added that the new brand signals continuity, strengthened institutional capacity and a forward-looking approach to taxpayer support, marking the beginning of a stronger trust-based relationship between the Revenue Authority and the public. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says the Nigerian economy is projected to grow by 4.49% in 2026, with inflation expected to ease further. Maria Dozakari reports.
Latest macroeconomic outlook for Nigeria 2026, the central bank said the positive outlook is underpinned by ongoing structural reforms, improving investor confidence and a gradual ease of monetary policy despite slower global economic growth in 2025. The Apex Bank noted that stronger oil production, improved security in oil-producing areas, and increased investment in domestic refining capacity are expected to support growth. Nigeria's economy expanded by an estimated 3.89% in 2025, up from 3.38% in 2024, driven by improved performance in both oil and non-oil sectors. The bank explained that inflationary pressures have continued to moderate, with headline inflation declining for the 8th consecutive month to 14.45% in November, reflecting slower growth in food prices. Looking ahead, the CBN expects inflation to decline further in 2026, easing pressure on households and reinforcing macroeconomic stability.
Well, that report was by Moplanda Hoknot, Maria Dozakari. Well, Moving to capital market, the NGX All Share Index, SIA, closed 2025 with a year-to-date gain of 51.19%, outperforming the 37.65% return recorded in 2024. The equities market closed the last day of 2025 on a positive note as the All Share Index climbed 0.37% at 155,034.72 points. Maria Dozakari has this report actually.
Market activity remained robust as investors executed 27,884 deals, exchanging a total of 1.229 billion shares. The volume traded translated to a market turnover of 35.13 billion naira, indicating active participation by both institutional and retail investors. As a result of the positive sentiment, total equity market capitalization rose to 99.38 trillion naira, reinforcing the Nigerian exchange's strong performance and position in equities as an attractive asset class amid evolving macroeconomic conditions. Aluminium extrusion industries led the gainers with 9.9% share price appreciation, closing at 21.65 naira per share, followed by Austin Lars and Company, Mayer, and CNL Leasing. On the losing side, Nymeth International Pharma came out last with an end-of-year price depreciation of 9.38% at 5.80 naira per share, followed by Tantalizers, International Breweries, and NPF Microfinance Bank.
Well, that concludes business news. ARA is good doing business with you in 2025. Well, let's see what happens in 2026.
Of course, many thanks, Musa, for the update. Now, we head to Lagos. One more body has been recovered from the scene of the Lagos Island Great Nigeria Insurance Building fire disaster. 8 days after the incident, traces of fire and smoke remain visible, with families of victims believed to still be trapped, clinging to hope for their rescue. Larry Bilay has a situation report.
One more body has been recovered from the Great Nigeria Building fire, including 3 severely burned victims. 8 males, including a firefighter, are hospitalized with injuries. 3 males and 2 females sustained minor injuries, treated on site and released. Although recovery operations are ongoing, families of victims believed to still be trapped under the debris are distressed and frustrated.
The worst is that I was trapped there with my daughter. 2 of us were trapped there. But faithfully, God helped me. I was able to escape. But my daughter, she's still there up to this moment.
At the site of the burnt high-rise, families of victims say it's overwhelming to watch the slow pace of search and rescue operation.
Being hopeful that they are still alive, but then again, the government should do something. Either dead or alive, they should just help us as help them. We need them. At least if not for anything, what are we going to take home to the family?
As at few days ago, many of them were still calling that they are okay, but they can't find their way out. So now, we don't even know if they are alive or dead. You can't just tell somebody.
Your brother with a phone inside the debris?
Yes. At a point, the phone was not reachable, but as we speak now, it's now switched off.
So they were promising us that they will do something very soon. Very soon, we don't know when, how soon, you don't know. Some people that are trapped there that need to be rescued, they don't know whether they are still alive or not.
While they embark on vigil relentlessly, they are calling on relevant authorities to empathize with them and expedite action on getting their loved ones out of the debris. In Lagos, Larry Bilay, NTA News.
Very sad development. Also, the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, alongside the National President of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, has led a powerful delegation to Gombe State to commiserate with the families of NTA Gombe staff and other journalists who lost their lives in a fatal road accident on Monday. Talatu Laman reports.
The delegation, comprising the Director General of the NTA, Abdulhamid Salihu Dembos, who was represented, NUJ National President Alhassan Yaya, and General Managers of NTA Gombe, Bauchi, Damaturu and Birnin Kebbi, visited families of the deceased journalists to commiserate with them. Sector Commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Samson Kaura, also accompanied the condolence visitors, while Commissioner of Police Umar Chusu sent a delegation.
4 of us have been to the families. I believe we express the condolence of the Director General.
I think it is time for all of us as journalists to subscribe to insurance. That insurance is going to go a long way in changing the way we operate.
Meanwhile, the Gombe State government has announced a cash donation of 2 million naira to each of the bereaved families. This came after an earlier release of 5 million naira to take care of the medical bills of those injured. In Gombe, Talatu Lamon, NTA News.
May their souls rest in perfect peace. Also, 4 fatal road crashes within the space of 1 week have claimed more than 40 lives across parts of Jigawa State, raising serious concerns over road safety and the conduct of commercial drivers. Authorities attribute the recurring tragedies to reckless driving, overloading, use of substandard tires and quality of road infrastructure. Ibrahim Sani reports that a passionate appeal was made to Northern Governors Forum to work with legislators to come out with stringent penalties to road traffic offenders.
The growing spate of road accidents in Jigawa State has led families devastated and communities in mourning as no fewer than 40 people lost their lives in 4 separate crashes recorded within 1 week. The most recent tragedy occurred at Amasara along Honar Huguma Road in Dutse local government area, where 18 people were killed in fatal motor accident. Among the victims were 12 members of the same family, a development residents described as heartbreaking and traumatic.
I began to think, what's happening in our state? How can we tackle this problem?
We always preach to people, to drivers, to road users, to be very cautious.
Similarly, Ringim local government area recorded 2 separate road crashes that claimed the lives of 16 people, while several others sustained varying degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment at different health facilities. According to traffic and safety authorities, preliminary investigations indicate that reckless driving, excessive speeding, overloading, and the use of worn-out and substandard tires by commercial drivers were major contributing factors to the accident.
Most of the cars are technically maybe pounded. You find a lot of challenges with regard to the drivers and even the motors.
Wherever I see anyone violating any road regulations, I used to educate that person.
Preventing road crashes is a collective responsibility that requires the support and cooperation of all to achieve safety. Dutse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, Shehu Mohammed expresses grief over the fatal road traffic crash involving Abbas campaign members of the National Union of Journalists, NUJ, en route Yola to Gombe, which reportedly claimed the lives of 6 journalists. In a statement signed by the Corps Public Education Officer, Shegun Ogungbemide, the Corps Marshal described the incident as a devastating blow to the media family and the nation at large, noting that the loss of lives of truth and voices of truth and conscience under such tragic circumstance is deeply painful and unacceptable. Now, many thanks for remaining tuned. Let's now move to the Eagle Square, where some Abuja residents are already gathered to usher in the new year. Our correspondent Oluseye Adagbo is already stationed there to bring us the ambience of the vicinity. Oluseye.
Thank you very much, Larry. As you can see, we are already at the Eagle Square, just as you mentioned. It's actually a way that Nigerians come together to say goodbye to the whole year and welcome in the new year. Hundreds of them have actually gathered here to actually express themselves, rejoice. While some are at the Eagle Square, the central and one of the major spots in the Federal Capital Territory. Several other places like the Worship Center and other joints, people will be there actually celebrating and doing what they know how to do. With their families, with their loved ones, friends, and everyone has come, individuals. And if you can see right behind me, the DJ is actually playing music. But it's actually about the people. And I have some Nigerians here. They can just tell me how they feel seeing the end of the year and the expectation going into the new year. Good evening. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good evening.
So, what's your name?
My name is Abdurrahman.
Now tell me, how do you feel seeing the end of the year and your expectation for 2026?
Okay, I feel very fulfilled, and I feel thankful to the Almighty for keeping me to these late hours of 2025 and hopefully getting to 2026. So that's why we are out here with family and friends to celebrate the fact that we made it to the end of the year. We will start next year in a very good way.
So what are your expectations? What are your expectations for 2026?
Growth, more growth. Because there are a lot of lessons that were learned. So we look forward to working on those lessons and also having to put them into action and what we learned, reserve. That's the shortcomings that we had, and look forward to progressing more.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's nice having you. So tell me, how do you feel seeing the end of the 2025?
I feel so happy, so glad, so full of joy. 2025 has been so beautiful. It has made me feel that Nigeria has so much for us, for all of us. And I want to take the opportunity to thank the world for many of us that are celebrating 2026 yet to come. There are some part of the world that have celebrated 2026 in peace, in unity, in progress, and in prosperity. What I want Nigeria to believe is that Nigeria will continue to remain united. Nigeria will continue to remain a diverse nation, and Nigeria will continue to remain a nation of love.
Thank you very much.
No matter what many people think.
Thank you very much.
Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
We are going to remain united, strong.
Thank you.
And so much.
Thank you, thank you. So just as you have seen here, it's actually excitement here. And right at the entrance, there are security and logistics to ensure that everything is in order. So for now, the excitement is here. Everybody's just counting down. So that time that the fireworks will rent the air, and it will be a welcome to the new year.
Fantastic. Many thanks, Oluche. I can feel the vibe, the fun, and the excitement at the Eagle Square. Of course, every Nigerian is excited, looking forward to the year 2026. Thank you for that. And I hope everyone will join the NTA. Oluche and our crew are on ground for a special live crossover program right here on the Nigerian Television Authority. This is Africa's largest TV network. And of course, we have you covered into the new year. So remain tuned. We'll pause now. All right, now time to talk sports. Francisca, over to you. A few hours to the end of the year 2026. How do you feel?
Of course, I feel really excited that in few hours we will be crossing over to 2026. Welcome to Sports Update. Now, after finishing top of Group C with a maximum 9 points at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco, the Super Eagles have stepped up preparations for the round of 16 match. On Wednesday, players and officials held an early morning training session at the Relaxation du Sport complex in Fez, Morocco. Following the impressive group stage outing, Nigeria will now face Mozambique, who ended the group phase as the third-place team in Group F after the conclusion of the final round of matches. Now turning to the matches played on Wednesday at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations, Algeria completed the group stage with a flawless record for the first time since their 2019 title triumph after cruising to a 3-1 victory over already eliminated Equatorial Guinea. In the same Group E, Burkina Faso sealed second place with a determined 2-0 win over Sudan at the Stade Mohammed V in Casablanca. Meanwhile, in Group F, Cameroon overcame Mozambique in their final group fixture, confirming a round of 16 clash between Nigeria and Mozambique. Now, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has begun deliberations on the hosting rights for the 2028, 2032 and 2036 editions of the Africa Cup of Nations in light of recent changes to the tournament's calendar. Sources within CAF reveal that members of the executive committee are in support of a proposal to invite bids for 3 successive African tournaments, starting from 2028 through 2036, instead of awarding hosting rights on a one tournament at a time basis. According to CAF, the matter will feature prominently on the agenda of the CAF Executive Committee meeting slated for mid next month. That's your spot. Is back to you, Nyere. Happy New Year in advance.
Indeed, Happy New Year in advance to you, Francisca. It's been a fantastic year. Many thanks to all our viewers who have been with us from January till date. It is the last day of the year. Thank you so much. We do sincerely appreciate it. From the entire production crew, please stay with the NTA. As already mentioned, we have a live broadcast to usher in the new year, and that would kick off at about 11:30 tonight. So, see you in the new year.